Fellow Toastmasters, I'm going to try to get through this quick because I have too much material to go over, as usual. But today I'm going to talk about school funding and the Bluebonnet program. I'm going to go over a couple of some myths that are out there. I'm going to go ahead and debunk them, and then I'm going to tell you why the Bluebonnet curriculum that's being pushed by SBOE, the State Board of Education, is not the answer. Before I continue, I do want to thank Frisco ISD. They invited me to a very awkward closed-door meeting with Jared Patterson and two other Republican State House representatives, Frederick Frazier and one other, Matt Shaheen. And I was the only Democrat in the room. But the whole purpose was to make sure that the representatives and the candidates understood how finance works when it comes to our ISDs. And so they gave us this nice little slideshow. I'm going to go over a couple of them. Some of this might be a little bit of information you may already know. I'm going to talk about the WADA. The WADA stands for the Weighted Average Daily Attendance. This is a formula that is determined by our state legislature. It determines how much money that goes to each of our independent school districts. Generally speaking, it goes like this. There's a number that floats above every kid's head. That number is around $6,000, specifically on here, $6,160. And these numbers, that basic allotment number, that $6,000 number, gets multiplied based upon two variables. One, the kid's attendance at school, and two, their needs. For example, on this slide here, we can see how if someone attends 95% of the time, that can drag that number down a little bit. But if say, for example, this kid's special needs, that could be multiplied by 1.2. There are different weights that are applied to this basic allotment number. Again, that number is around $6,000. But what's most important to know is that this number, the $6,000 number, has not been adjusted since the year 2019. And we've had considerable inflation since then. So given the fact that the static number does not auto-adjust to inflation, and it's still out of date, it means that our public education system as a whole is being defunded due to inflation. More specifically, if we wanted to keep the basic allotment up to inflation, we would have to increase the basic allotment by $1,400, something that both Frisco ISD has asked for and Denton ISD has asked for as well. I'll go over that in a little bit, but essentially they really want to drive this home to myself and the other State House representatives. They basically have this chart here showing that, hey, look, in Frisco ISD, we're getting more money through our gold pennies, our silver pennies, essentially our property taxes. But when you adjust it to inflation here, it's still not the same amount of dollar value coming into our independent school districts. This is something they basically asked for in the very last slide. They were begging, basically, these State House reps to please increase the basic allotment by $1,400. And then secondly, they really wanted the basic allotment to auto-adjust with inflation as inflation continues to basically take care of our future. So that was something that they were really asking for, and they're really trying to drill home that we have a massive surplus in Texas. We got money in the bank. We all been paying a lot of money through our property taxes, right? I know that you all feel that, I do. And we got money in the bank. We can pay for our independent school districts and our broken roads and utilities and so many other things if only we would use our surplus. I don't know if I can share the audio or how well the audio is. I can't do the audio. I'm gonna have to just go ahead and wing this.
As I said, increase the basic allotment. Increase it by at least $1,400. It will bring us back to the 2019 levels. And also, ever since HB3 2019, any increase to the basic allotment is a guaranteed increase to our teachers' salaries. So
I think someone down there said, I want a $1,400 increase to the basic allotment. Do you guys understand how much that costs? $800 million for a $100 increase to the basic allotment. That's $11.2 billion. Do the math for those few business people in here. $20 million surplus, $11.2 billion going to pub ed, when we know that a third of every dollar gets into the classroom with the teacher.
I'm going to go into this just real quick because I was really agitated that Mitch Little did this, because there's a sleight of hand here that I saw happening on this spot. He's trying to basically say that we have a $20 billion surplus. First, that's kind of true, but not quite right. I want to bring up this slide right here. We have, when it shares, there we go. Our actual surplus right now in Texas is $23.7 billion. Last session, we had a $33 billion surplus. We had $10 more billion in our surplus. We lost that because of Operation Lone Star, because our governor's hemorrhaging that money away. Secondly, he's trying to say that I'm demanding for $11.2 billion to spend in our public education system. Actually, I would love it if we did, but we don't really need to. If we increase the basic allotment by $1,000, that would only cost us $5.5 billion. I know that $5.5 billion sounds like a big number, but again, you have to understand, we currently have $23.7 billion in surplus right now, and previously we had $33 billion. This money belongs to our public education systems. I'm going to jump ahead real quick too because I'm running out of time. So I want to talk about Bluebonnet. Bluebonnet is a scam being offered by our State Board of Education. What they're trying to say is that, hey, look, if you really want to increase the amount of funding coming to our school board districts, then adopt this optional curriculum called Bluebonnet. What Bluebonnet actually is a curriculum that infuses a church and Christian education into our public schools. It will basically slap the Bible into the laps of kindergartners and teach Bible studies from grade kindergarten through grade 5. And what they're doing, and the reason I went over the budgeting stuff, is because they're trying to say, hey, look, if you adopt this Bluebonnet curriculum, we're going to give you $30 for every student that you have in your school. Now, I want you to hear that. $30, not $300, $30. They're offering $30 per kid. All the meanwhile, Stephanie and I, we've been advocating for over $1,000 increase to the basic allotment, right? They only want to give us $30. That barely covers the material, because you got to pay for the Bible and you got to print out all the learning material that they're going to push. Not to mention which denomination of Christianity is going to be taught. This is one of the things we always run into whenever we try to talk about Bible-fused curriculums. But I'm a bit out of time, but I want to touch on many can of worms that this opens up, and also I really want to go over the budgeting because they're trying to dangle this thread in front of our ISDs saying, hey, look, if you really want this money, accept this curriculum. But the reality is it's not jack squat to what our ISDs really truly deserve. Thank you.